Welcome to Ring the Bell with your host, KG, and of course, the wrestling enthusiast, his sidekick, Mark. What's up, brother?
Not much. Not much.
Cool. Let's start off with some news. News. Let's first talk about Malaki Black's status with AEW. Malaki Black's AEW status has been a hot topic of speculation in recent days, and actually, it seems like his status at AEW is constantly a hot topic here for the past few months. With reports suggesting Black may be done with the company, while AEW president Tony Khan had previously stated Black was signed through 2027. Others have suggested his deal was already up or may be up soon. According to Dave Meltzer, and let me stop right there. Take what Dave Meltzer says with a grain of salt. Unfortunately, though, he's the one that's really reporting on this whole situation. Sometimes Dave Meltzer, man, he gets it dead on. Other times he's way the hell off. And sometimes he reports things that he shouldn't report. But anyway, according to Meltzer, with a Wrestling Observer, the feeling in the AEW locker room is that nobody expects him back. For discerning viewers, there have been subtle clues on AEW programming hinting that Black is indeed done, though there had been a previously though she had been previously aligned with the House of Black. Julia Hart, who just recently made her comeback from an injury, she made no mention of the stable. Buddy Matthews, who was in action against Will Ospreay this past Wednesday on the January 8th AEW Dynamite, was still billed as being part of the group, but Ospreay cut a promo post-match telling Matthews that both he and fellow House of Black member Brody King don't need to be following no leader at all, and that they were good enough to branch out on their own. I actually had mentioned that on our last podcast covering that as well. Black's last AEW match came at Full Gear, where he and King competed in an AEW World Tag Team Championship. It was a four-way match, ultimately won by Private Party, but it was his match against Adam Cole on the November 6th Dynamite, where rumors of his departure first started heating up. At the close of the contest, Black sat cross-legged in the middle of the ring and willingly accepted Cole's finisher, and afterwards uncharacteristically hugged Cole instead of shaking his hand. Not sure if people are reading too much into that, but that is kind of part of the conversation and where a lot of this is coming from. Let's move on to Vince McMahon. Oh, Vinny Mac. The Securities Exchange Commission ordered Vince McMahon to pay $1.7 million after charging the former WWE CEO with failing to disclose two hush money settlements to two women who formerly worked for the wrestling company. I'm going to stop right there. I don't know what they think, what type of a punishment $1.7 million is for Vince McMahon, because that is pocket change to him. He is pretty close to being a billionaire, or he actually is a billionaire. McMahon must reimburse his former company $1.3 million and pay a $400,000 civil penalty stemming from the government's investigation into the wrestling kingpin. McMahon went on to say this: today ends nearly 3 years of investigation by different governmental agencies. There has been a great deal of speculation about what exactly the government was investigating and what the outcome would be. As today's resolution shows, much of that speculation was misguided and misleading. McMahon said this on social media, and I don't know if he's thinking that this thing is over, because it's not. He went on to say, in the end, there was never anything more to this than minor accounting errors. With regards to some personal payments that I made several years ago while I was CEO of WWE, I am thrilled that I can now put all this behind me, except TK. Janelle Grant's lawyer. Now, Janelle Grant is one of the women that accused him of some stuff. Her lawyer, Ann Callis, said this: the SEC charges proves that the NDA, Vince McMahon, coerced Ms. Grant into signing violates the law, and therefore her case must be heard in court. Callis continued, while prosecutors for the Southern District of New York continue their criminal investigation, we look forward to bringing forward new evidence in our civil case about the sexual exploitations Ms. Grant endured at WWE by Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis, whatever. Look, Vince McMahon is still possibly in trouble because the civil side of this is the least of his worries. If they do continue to move forward and charge him criminally, this could not end well for him. AEW ratings for the return of Kenny Omega, according to WrestleNomics, an average of 615,000 viewers turned in to this week's Dynamite, a 5% increase from last week, Fight for the Fallen special on New Year's Day, and a 3% increase from the trailing 4 weeks, which stands at 595,000 average viewers. In the ever important 18 to 49 demographic, there was a 6% increase from Wednesday's episode compared to last week, though that shows 6% in the trailing 4 weeks. Dynamite scored a 0.17 in the 18.49 demographic this week. It's important to mention, though, that this does not include the numbers from Max, which has not been released. So, although those numbers may seem low, AEW may have gotten actually a pretty good viewership if and when those numbers from Max comes out. And here's a name you've not heard in quite a while: Maria Kanellis. According to Fightful Select, Kanellis and AEW actually ended up agreeing to a short contract extension that was beneficial to both parties and is set to expire by the end of January. Now, the reason why they're saying that they actually ended up agreeing was because initially Kanellis was walking away. She did not want to re-sign with AEW because of personal reasons and her health. Fightful sources claim that there was supposed to be an announcement regarding her new deal, but that the plans for this fell through. The reports also noted how Kanellis has been known to work in many different roles, not only on screen, but also backstage, and further said that she's willing to help out with creative director for AEW's women's division. Now, the reason why I'm reporting on this now, since we're almost to the middle of January, and obviously her contract seems like it's going to come to an end because of the last part that she actually likes and wants to help out with creative for the direction of the women's division. You know, Canales has been in the wrestling business for a while, and I'm not sure if she's been part of creative. If she has, I don't think it's been that great for the women's division. And if she's not been, maybe let's give her a chance to see what she can actually do. And the final thing is Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle's name is once again stirring controversy as the former WWE superstar faces accusation of scamming a wrestling promoter out of $2,000 and failing to show up for a promised meet and greet and match. The allegations comes from Dylan Hines. Now, if you guys say that name sounds familiar, Dylan Hines is actually going to be on the podcast on Wednesday. So we're going to be talking about this. The promoter behind World Classic Professional Big Time Wrestling. In a detailed Facebook post, Hines accused Riddle and an individual named Michelle Gray of making last-minute financial demands, breaching their agreement, and leaving the promotion in the lurch. Hines explained, on Saturday morning, December 14th at 6:32 a.m., an individual under the name of Michelle Gray reached out to me. She stated that Matt Riddle, in order for him to get on his flight, he needed to receive $2,000 I woke up at 7:30 a.m. I attempted to call the individual to see if this was a scam or not. I've never heard of this person's name until Saturday at 7:20 a.m. The individual refused to speak over the phone. According to Hines, he reached out to Riddle directly to verify Gray's connection, and after confirming this, he sent the payment. However, things quickly escalated. From the understanding between Matt and I, we had a deal for $8,000 plus travel, Hines shared. After informing us he had not attended the meet and greet, I was informed he'd need $5,000 for just the match. Unfortunately, thanks to Michelle Gray and her new client, Matt Riddle, I couldn't deliver what was promised. Hines further revealed that the agreement shifted mid conversation, with Riddle allegedly demanding $10,000, $2,000 more than their original deal. The promoter expressed his frustration with Riddle's behavior and stated that the incident has caused financial damages to the event, including tickets and meet and greet sales. In our industry, Hines said, a promo is as good as a contract. I think that's supposed to be a promise is as good as a contract, Hines added. Um, he chose not to perform to the contract agreement. Now, there has been a lot of things about Matt Riddle that has come to light, and it seems like this guy is just a fucking douchebag. So, if you don't have anything to say about all of those news events, let's get down to the Smackdown recap. I'll tell you that honestly, I thought the show was kind of boring.
Wow, really? I kind of like the production upgrade. It wasn't overdone. Actually, I thought there was pretty good matches. Um,
Um, this isn't anything against the talent. There was good matches, but at the same time, it didn't do anything for me. I found myself looking at the clock, wishing that this would end. I was really, really bored, just being honest.
well,
Um, it didn't seem like there's any energy there.
I did notice the crowd was kind of lame. Um,
Yeah.
again, we've gone over this. 3 hours to me is just too much. I just the thought of it turns me down or turns me off. All right. So yeah, with 3 hours, you kind of expect a lot, and to some degree, maybe we didn't get it, but we'll get into it. So it came from Portland, Oregon, I believe. Start out with a recap of Raw. We don't need to go over that because we already went over it. Paul Heyman in ring, blah blah blah. Tribal chief calls out Cody. Uh, Roman wants the title. That's no big surprise.
So let's stop here. This is the issue I have with this. One, if Roman, according to Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns has all this respect for Cody Rhodes. To me, it seems a little disrespectful to send his little minion, the wise man, to tell Cody this. Why wasn't Roman Reigns himself to confront Cody? I had issues with that part. Secondly, of course, Cody Rhodes comes in and um, just the same old love session that we get from Cody Rhodes. I was happy to see KO come into the crowd and get Cody to leave the ring, because I've gotten to the point now that I am just not a fan of Cody Rhodes anymore. He's become boring to me, because it doesn't matter who his opponent is. It's basically the same promos, insert different name.
So are his matches. His matches are pretty cookie cutters, you know. And for the longest time, I just kind of ignored it. But the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, it's like, God damn, this is the same shit over and over and over. It's almost like this airs Hulk Hogan.
It is. Now, look, make no mistake about it. Although when KO did that package power driver KO, yes, there were some fans at that event that was kind of cheering, right? I'm guessing they're KO fans, but for the most part, Cody Rhodes still has fans. I mean, people pop when he comes down the ring. You can't take that away from him. And Cody's ability to cut promos on the mic is still there. I'm not saying that he's bad. The problem is it's the same thing over and over and over. It's kind of like going to see a comic and then you go to another spot to see him and it's the same show. That's why you only go see him once. Well, same thing with Cody Rhodes. It's regardless of who his opponent is, again, it's just, insert name. And I'm bored with it, really bored with it. Now, the great point was when the uh, the new bloodline came in to jump on Paul Heyman. I was, I was no excited to see that. And for some reason, I wanted to see Paul Heyman get his ass kicked. But I tell you why. I tell you why. If they would have attacked and kicked Paul Heyman's ass, then at that point, I would have stopped expecting Paul Heyman to turn on Roman Reigns, but they didn't really attack him, right? So, is this our rouge? And the question is still up there: is Paul Heyman going to turn on Roman?
Yep. So yeah, Jimmy came out to help Paul Heyman, and then Cody comes back to the ring.
It was Sami Zayn as well.
Yeah. All right. Nick Olsen security tried to get Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu out of arena. LA Knight pushes Fatu out the door and slams it out. I got a good kick out of it. I don't know why. I just got a good kick out of it.
I did too. And this kind of made me have a little bit of hopes and dreams. And once we get to the LA Knight match and we talk about what happened there, I'll go further on and explain about that.
Okay. So next we go to Michin versus Chelsea Green. Good
Don't
match.
care.
Good match. Same thing as always happens. She gets distracted by Piper Niven and loses the match basically.
So Chelsea Green is probably one of the only wrestlers I will say I don't think that she's a good wrestler. And now that she has the title, now she's just a wrestler with a title that can't wrestle. I just don't like her at all.
I do.
Like you said, I've said this a lot of times about Chelsea Green. I don't like her personally. I don't like her in the ring. She tried to cost someone their career. I think it was out of jealousy. So fuck Chelsea Green.
Was that Tessa Blanchard? Oh, I like Chelsea. I think she's good in the ring. I love her promos. I think she's so high on herself. It's unrealistic, and it's just funny. But I'll get into that. Or no, I won't. So recap of DIY match versus Motor City Machine Guns last week. Nick Aldis with 4 teams in the back. Las Garza, pretty dangerous. Motor City Machine Guns and A-Town. Breaks them into 2 separate face-offs. Then we go to La Garza versus Pretty Deadly. This is actually a really good match. I enjoyed this. It was very fast-paced. I like the double press slam at the end. La Garza for the win.
You're right. It was a good match, but this is my issue. This feud between DIY and the Motor Machine Guns, I want this to be done with because right now I think they are burning valuable time on this feud. There's so many other feuds that DIY, great feuds, that they can get into with other wrestlers while they're a heel, while they're kind of hot as a heel. And I would just hate to see, their feud with Motor Machine Guns, fizz, them being hot, it fizzed down. Look, they have great matches, but it's time for them to have their final match. They're going to keep their title. Time for them to move on to something else.
The funny thing is, I was never really a serious fan of Motor City Machine Guns, but I gotta give these guys credit. They got to be pushing late 30s, early 40s, and these guys haven't lost a step. Haven't lost a step, and and I don't know if it's just WWE, uh, the way they promote them or whatever, but these guys are hotter than ever. You know.
Yeah, I mean, look, I agree. They're good, and it's nothing against Motor Machine Guns. It's just, I think what the problem is this thing with what's that group's name? Deadly Unpretty or Pretty Undeadly or Unpretty, whatever they are.
Deadly.
Yeah, Pretty Deadly. I think honestly, what it is they are dragging this feud down between DIY and Motor Machine Guns, because you know, Pretty Undeadly. That's it. I look. I dislike them so much, and they do nothing for me that I can never remember their name. That's how interested I am in this group. So I think if they remove them from this feud, then maybe it'd be better. But they have this silly ass storyline going on with it, and it doesn't work for me.
All right, I'll give you that. Let's see. LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke's entrance kind of reminded me of Kabuki. Nakamura has probably some of the crispest, cleanest moves I've seen in a long time. I was watching the match and I was like, holy shit, this guy's just crisp.
Yeah, this was my favorite match of the night. This is the match that I really paid attention to because I love Shinsuke. I like LA Knight. I like him a lot actually, but I mean, I am more of a Shinsuke fan just because of how good this guy is. His entrance is great, and you're right. It's funny because I actually thought about the Great Kabuki as well when he came out. Just that dark, his hand movements, absolutely 100%.
Yep.
Now, I want to go back to my statement that I made about LA Knight with the New Bloodline and Hopes and Dreams. Out of all of the superstars that has had issues and a possible storyline with the New Bloodline, LA Knight is the one that really excites me the most because I think that anyone that he faces and that he may beat, you can buy it. He has the size. He he's hard hitting. He's no nonsense. He's not about the bullshit. I hope they move forward with this feud, and I hope that it's kind of a little bit of a long storyline. I would love to see LA Knight against Fatu. I think Fatu will come up on top, but I think that'd be one hell of a match between those two because LA Knight giving Fatu one hell of a fight. I can buy that. And God, the promos I think would be really good as well.
Yeah, there's very few that are better on the mic than LA Knight, to be honest. All right, so a couple things that I took away from this: the sliding German suplex when LA Knight was on the ropes. I was like, God damn, I haven't seen that in forever. The reverse Boston Crab that LA Knight put on Shinsuke. I don't think I've ever seen that. I'm sure I have, but but it was a couple moves that I haven't seen too often or at all, to be honest. There's a good back and forth with these two, and the chemistry's there. These guys were anticipating each other's moves and blocking them or getting out of them. It was a damn good match. Probably one of the best matches I've seen in a long time, to be honest.
Yeah, now I tell you, you just mentioned something which is the negative side of if LA Knight does get into the storyline with the New Bloodline on SmackDown. That means that we probably won't have a storyline at all right now between LA Knight and Shinsuke, or it's going to end at this point. I'm really surprised though that they're kind of starting, or it seems like WWE is kind of starting this storyline with the New Bloodline before LA Knight gets his title back. The good side of that is that means that Shinsuke may actually finally have a pretty long title reign, hopefully.
Yeah, I don't see them taking out Shinsuke anytime too soon. Not till WrestleMania at least. So yeah, the New Bloodline. Tamatanga and Jacob Fatu come out and attack. Cody and Jimmy come out to help. Nick Aldis comes out to kind of break things up. Cody offers a tag challenge. Aldis approves it.
Yeah, now this is my issue though. Yes, I know Cody Rhodes is the world champion, right? WWE. But I'm sorry. I just don't buy him having as much offense against Fatu that he had. To me, Fatu should just run over Cody Rhodes. You know, um I don't know. There's just something about Cody Rhodes that I don't buy him being this tough guy, or at least a tough enough guy to have any type of offense on Fatu at all.
All right. Well, you're getting ahead of the game here. All right.
No, I'm talking about Cody Rhodes coming with Uso. Him and Fatu did tie up a little bit right then and there. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Next, we got a recap of Tiffany's win. Possible face turn, maybe.
Let me tell you something. This segment with Tiff and Jax, Nia Jax, was absolutely terrible. It was terrible. Something was way off. The promos they were cutting were terrible. I don't know what it was, but the only reason why I had any type of anticipation and excitement about watching SmackDown last night was for the whole Tiffy thing. And I was just let down. Something was just off mark. I don't know what it is. Tiffy cuts a much better promo than what she did last night. Nia Jax, Nia Jax is Nia Jax. I don't ever expect much from her when it comes to promos. She's gotten better, don't get me wrong. But Tiffy, something was off, and I'm not sure what it was.
I don't know. Could be that pound of foundation she had on her face.
That's not hate on her, man.
It was the first time I noticed it last night. I'm like, God damn, she's got a lot of foundation.
Well, real quick, you say that, guys, look, if you guys on YouTube, if you guys go YouTube and search Tiffy Stratton without makeup on, let me tell you, she looks way different without makeup, and in a good way, much better without makeup on than that pound of makeup that she wears while she is in character. But yeah, there's oh my gosh, man. I feel bad for a pillow if she put her face on it.
I don't know. I just know makeup's not going to help me. So, all right. So,
Nothing's gonna help you.
you're right. Motor City Machine Guns versus A Town. I think Grayson Waller is this era's Roddy Piper. I really do. Again, these guys haven't lost a step. I was really impressed with this match. Grayson and Austin Theory really did a good job, I think. But Motor City Machine Guns, if you're talking about anybody carrying anybody, they carried them a little bit. But you
But
could
here's
also
go ahead. I'm sorry.
you could also see that Motor City Machine Guns were getting a little winded too.
Yeah. Now I don't know if there's some real heat with Austin Theory and Grayson um behind the scenes. But why have they become the guys that is just constantly losing the matches? I don't get what's going on.
Yeah.
Because
That,
they're good. Look, I didn't like them at first, and I have kind of warmed up to those guys because of, you know, we were talking about, on our last show, how there's or actually, I'm sorry, I was talking about this on another podcast I was on, how there's very few superstars that comes out of professional wrestling. Very few great ones, right? And in my opinion, in order to be considered that guy, that main guy, you have to be able to cut promos and be good in the ring. Not everyone can do that. They can either do one or the other. Austin Theory and Grayson both can cut promos, and they're both damn good in the ring. I don't understand what's going on with them and why they seem to have become these jobbers or these enhanced talents, because they're too good for that. These guys should be on the main event card.
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't a big fan of Austin Theory at first. You know, when Vince McMahon, said he was the golden egg or whatever, you know, didn't care for it, didn't see it. I liked him on NXT. I liked him with Johnny Gargano when they were the family, and I just thought it was just a good mix. Um, but yeah, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller have really grown on me. Grayson Waller, I don't like his Waller Effect show as much. But I do enjoy these two. You're right; they should be on a main eventers. If not at that top tier. I think they're
And
going to.
see, go ahead.
I think they're going to get there, but I think it's a couple of years away.
Well, I have to disagree with you about Grayson Waller's show, The Grayson Effect, because, and you said it, Grayson does remind me a lot of Rowdy Piper, and this show reminds me a lot of Piper's Pit. Look, if there's been, Piper used to say all the time, just when you think you have the answer, I change the question. I get that a lot out of Grayson Waller and his Waller Effect and his Waller Effect show. I really, really do. So I'm really surprised to hear that you don't like his show, being that it does remind me so much of Piper's Pit.
It could be just a setup. I don't know.
I hate the setup. I agree. It's. I think they need to have a better setup to make it more so that we could take it more serious.
Right. All right. So then we go to uh, Motor City Machine Guns for the win. Then we go backstage to DIY backstage. Pretty Deadly comes up. They have a little back and forth about, hey, I thought you had our back, whatever, whatever. Then Apollo Cruz comes out, pretty much says, if you believe anything these guys say, you're stupid.
Yep. Now, again, let's think about this, Bart. Johnny Gargano and his partner, fuck,
Tampa.
yeah, Ciampa. Goddamn, Ciampa. Imagine Ciampa actually want to have two guys like Pretty Deadly to watch his back. Come on, man. They're even with me this watching this and being able to dismiss my disbelief, right? Which we're supposed to do. Even in that world, we're talking about Ciampa. That's why I don't buy it, and I don't want Pretty Deadly in this storyline. I think it hurts DIY for them to be associating with these guys. They should have picked two better guys.
I think, truly, I think Ciampa and Johnny Gargano are the Triple H and HBK.
Not associating with Pretty Deadly, they're not.
No, they're not. They're not.
Do you think DX would ever associate with? They would have beat their asses.
I don't know. They hung out with the 1 through 3 Lightning kids, so
Yeah, but you got to remember when they really brought X Pac's character into DX was after he was hot, when he was involved with the NWO.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of X Pac. Just not a fan. Great talent, just not my cup of tea.
Yeah. No, I agree. He was kind of the child of DX. But even X Pac, it was his character much better than Pretty Deadly. It's
That
the characteristics, right, and the characters of Pretty Deadly and Ciampa. I think it instead of meshing, it just they clash.
yeah. No, I think DIY, if they actually let these guys cut loose, these guys would be the Triple H and HBK of their era.
I agree. Believe it or not, I think that DIY they would have been better bringing in like AOP or something like that, just because of how dark Ciampa can be and how violent he can be. I
Yeah.
think that would have been more of a better storyline than Pretty Deadly.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Coming
Which,
up.
by the way, Mark, let me say this, and I'm sure you agree with me. Speaking of AOP, I really wish that they would break away AOP from Karrion Cross.
Oh,
Because although Karrion Cross and that whole group of his should be kicking the shit out of everybody, including the new bloodline, including, believe it or not, Fatu. We're talking about AOP and Karrion Cross here, right? Instead, they're a joke on WWE. And nothing against Karrion Cross, but AOP with Paul Ellering is way too good to be in a group that is considered a joke. I mean, in many ways, this is a throwback to the greatest, most violent tag team there is, the Road Warriors.
time out. Time out.
Yeah,
Now hold on. You got to go with Terry Gordy and Dr. Death Steve Williams. They can go toe to toe with Road Warriors. But other than that, Road Warriors are the greatest tag team ever. I don't give a shit what anybody says. And don't even mention Demolition with them.
oh, I
Don't
agree.
Not even close.
Demolition was a Walmart version, a copycat
Timu,
of Road Warriors.
Timu. All
Yep.
right, all right. So next we go backstage. Well, in locker room, I guess. Nia Jax and Candice LeRae talking about Tiffy. Nia makes reference she's going to come out and congratulate her. So we knew that was going to happen. All right, so then we have Tiffy time. We've already kind of touched up on this. Tiffy pretty much said that she set Nia up for this whole thing. It was all plotted out, which reminded me of Mariah May and Tony Storm. It seemed like a direct ripoff, which is odd because I don't see WWE ripping off anybody, but this sure looked like a direct ripoff.
Actually, Mark, since you brought it up, and look, guys, to the people who's watching this, who watches this, I am not that fan that is, oh, AEW is better than WWE. Never. I love both of them. I watch WWE for the storylines. I watch AEW for the great matches that they normally have. But WWE has ripped off AEW a couple of times. One most recent, besides the Tiffy and Nia Jax, was if you go back on Raw and you watch the CM Punk and Seth Rollins match, CM Punk gives Seth Rollins his signature move. Rollins hits the ropes and then lands back on CM Punk that allows CM Punk to give him the second one. Well, actually, at this point, I think it was the third or fourth one, honestly. Now, if you go back, go watch it on Max. You can find it on Max. The match between CM Punk and John Moxley, the exact same finish happened. CM Punk gave John Moxley his finisher. John Moxley hits the ropes, falls on CM Punk, who was on his knee, just like in the match with Seth Rollins. And CM Punk gives Moxley another, his other, he gets his finisher move once again, and that's why he beats Moxley, and that's exactly how he beats Seth Rollins. So yes, there has been very similar situations. Now, do I think WWE is purposely doing this? I don't. I think that what we seen was CM Punk's input on how the match should finish, and subconsciously, without knowing it, he kind of went back to something he did already, and this is why this happened.
You wrestle as much as these guys do. It's hard to be unique in each match. You
Well,
know.
I'll go one step further, Mark. When you have a sport like professional wrestling that's been around for so long, before football, before professional basketball, right? That's how long professional wrestling has been part of this country and actually around the world. At this point in 2025, I would dare to say that it's damn near impossible for anybody in any organization to come up with something original.
Yeah. All right. So, anyways, Nia comes out, starts insulting Tiffany's intelligence. Um, Nia tells her to give the belt back or she will take it. Lo and behold, Bailey comes to the ring, insulting both her intelligence. Bailey pretty much stated, Tiffany, I thought you were dumb, and if you pull this off, you're not as dumb as I think you are. But Nia, I know you're dumb. Not a Bailey fan, but I did like that little bit. Bailey,
That was, but hold on, Mark. That was the only good part of this whole thing that happened was with Bailey coming in. Other than that, again, Tiffy was off. The promo was horrible. So was Nia Jax. Are you in agreement with me, or do you think that this was good?
um, no, I've seen better from both Nia and Tiffany or Tiffy. Um, the thing that struck me is I wasn't sure if they were cheering for Tiffany or just kind of blob on Tiffany or Tiffy. The crowd.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I'm about to give Tiffy props, even though I didn't like this promo. I think that she was able to give the audience a roller coaster ride of emotions because there were times that they were cheering her, and then there was a time in the same promo cheering for being cheered. Go back and watch it. Crowd booed her a little bit and then cheered her again. So that is how talented she is. If you're able to take a crowd on that emotional roller coaster ride in one promo, props to you. But again, this was definitely not her best promo.
No, no. All right, so Bailey makes a challenge. Naomi and Bianca come out, and a fight breaks out. And I noticed Tiffany kind of screwed it real quick, and then she came back into the ring and did was it the best moonsault or whatever? Um, and knocked them all out, and then she left. So Nick Aldis comes out and makes a fatal four way and says it starts right now, which kind of surprised me. Um, and actually, to see Bailey and Naomi, because I thought they were buddies, pals, and Pizos, go at it as hard as they did, I was kind of impressed. Bailey ends up pinning Naomi due to interference by Candice that distracted Nia Jax and Bianca.
See, they're building the foundation more and more. I guarantee you, of Naomi turning heel. Jade will be back in the next. She'll be back before Royal Rumble for sure. I believe. Or she may come back at Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And it's going to come out that Nia was the one. I mean, not Nia. Naomi was the one that attacked her.
Okay, so next we go to Jimmy and Cody backstage. Basically small talk. Talking about Roman challenging him, and Cody's like, "Yeah, I knew this was going to happen, so whatever." Camille Hayes shows up, tries to tries to give Jimmy the business, and Jimmy pretty much said, in one way or another, "You suck, bud." And again, I liked it. So then we go to Bailey interview. Match is set for next week versus Tiffy. Bailey states that Tiffy's never beat her. That's the kiss of death to me.
Yeah.
All right, so next we go to, and this kind of threw me, and I'm going to point something out here. The new bloodline, Tomatonga and Jacob Fatu, build combined weight 411 pounds. Now, come on. Jacob Fatu's got to be what? 250, 260, maybe three even? All right. There's no way in hell they're built at 411. That's Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah.
That, that's pretty deadly. That's Private Party. There's no way in hell these two combined are 411. 511 maybe, but not 411.
Yeah.
All right. Cody and Jimmy. Oh, versus Cody and Jimmy. Then they do a quick recap of John Cena's promo last week. Gonna win the Royal Rumble. Gonna break Ric Flair's record, although he doesn't say he's gonna break Ric Flair's record, but by stating he's gonna get a 17 world champion, he's breaking uh, supposedly Ric Flair's record of 17. I still think he's got more. Anyways, during the match, Kale comes out. Cody attacks. Jimmy ends up doing a 2-on-1. Cody puts Kale through a table. Jacob does a Tiffany moonsault. All right, because Tiffany hits that second one, and then she jumps to the third rope, and that's what Jacob Fatu does. So it's a Tiffany moonsault. to pin Jimmy. Now, the other thing I noticed with Jimmy earlier in the night is when he ran down to protect Paul Heyman, he wasn't running like normal. He looked like he still had a little bit of a limp. So I don't know if his broken toe is totally healed.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But look, let's talk about what we didn't mention, or you didn't mention, is Solo. Solo wasn't there.
Oh,
They went on to say that Solo has not been seen since he lost against Roman Reigns on Monday. And then, of course, this whole thing happening with Cody Rhodes deserting Uso, causing them to lose the match. I'm almost wondering if they are kind of setting something up where Roman Reigns is going to combine the OG bloodline with this new bloodline, and they're going to turn on Cody. I don't see Roman Reigns staying a babyface against Cody. So I'm wondering if we're going to see some type of a heel turn, and that's what I'm hoping at least. I like Roman as a heel, although I will say his characteristics as a babyface hasn't been that much different than him being a heel. He kind of stays in the middle there. So yeah, I'm curious to see what's going to happen. But I do believe that it's either going to be Paul Heyman that's going to turn heel, or it's going to be Roman Reigns and the Usos possibly turning heel. We'll see.
that's it. That's all I got for the wrap up.
Yep. So comments about what I just said?
Unfortunately, I was chasing dogs.
No,
Yeah,
I'm saying that I'm wondering if they're setting up for Roman to turn heel against Cody, and then him combining the new bloodline with the OG bloodline with the new bloodline, leaving Solo out.
I can't see them combining the two, to be honest. There's too much money to be made with Jacob versus Roman, I think. Um, we gotta wait for the other Tonga to come back from his injury. Um, I don't know. There's many routes they can go with this. There is gonna be a betrayal somewhere. I know that. Solo, if Solo stays away for the next 6 months, I'm not gonna lose any sleep.
No,
Solo, Solo is drier than Lance Storm.
that's bad, man.
I just there's nothing about Solo that excites me. When he was the enforcer, I could buy it and believe it. All right, but Solo on the mic has got to be almost the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, I do believe that his group is going to turn on him because he lost that match against Roman Reigns. I would be willing to bet money on that. Other than that, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I'm hoping that Roman turns heel. Is either Roman going to turn heel or Paul Heyman's going to betray Roman? It's one of those things. Two things are going to happen.
I don't know, it's hard to say, but we'll be there
Yep.
to watch.
Yep. So, but anyway, all right, guys. Well, that wraps up SmackDown. We will be back on Tuesday to recap Monday Night Raw. See what type of energy they're going to have for their second show on Netflix. Let's see what they're going to bring us. Very curious about that. Other than that, you got anything for us, Mark?
Real quick,
Yeah.
what you streaming on AEW?
What's that?
Think of the streaming on Max on AEW.
You know, it's whatever. Just because it's not like it's this big special thing where you have to have Max in order to watch AW because it's being streamed from TBS as well.
No, I'm talking about the actual streaming service.
Oh, yeah, I've been able to enjoy it because I'm watching season 1 of AW. They're supposed to be bringing in other ones, but
I had a hard time streaming it. Well,
oh,
that's
really?
I wanted to fast forward or rewind it. it was really kind of shitty.
I have had a problem, but look, Max itself, the streaming service, I've had issues with. I for a while I wasn't able to search things up at all. Um, and there's just been different other issues with Max. So I think it might be a Max thing. But I hope they get it straightened out because I am looking forward to the very first pay-per-view from AEW on Max where I'm not paying $50. It's going to be somewhat cheaper. So, but yeah, I haven't had a whole lot of issues. And real quick, I always forget to say this in the beginning. Look, guys, please subscribe to us. It's free. I try to bring in people to interview things that would be interesting to you for you guys. Like for instance, I just talked about Matt Riddle and with that piece of what he, the shitty thing that seems like he has done to Dylan Hines. So Dylan Hines again is going to be on the show on this coming Wednesday. He and I are going to talk about that situation and much more. Go find Dylan Hines on social media. He's bringing in, he has some great shows. He has some really great legends coming in that you guys can meet. But other than that, anything else, my friend?
Now, keep in mind, Dylan Heights might not be able to talk about much about Riddle due to maybe some legal actions.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He'll be able to talk about some stuff. So, but anyways, what you got?
Other than that, I got nothing but ring the damn bell.
All right. Yep. You guys ring the damn bell. And again, catch us on Tuesday night for the recap of Monday Night Raw. You guys have a good one.